Hello again, everyone, and welcome back. Okay, so it is 2022. It's been almost 2 years since I last made a video on print-on-demand services, and I feel like it's time for a sequel. I've received so many questions on my last video, and I tried to answer as many of those as possible, but somewhere along the way, over the last couple of months or so, I've just kind of stopped responding to them. It was becoming a bit of a chore to sort of keep up with all that, and I started to feel also a little bit disconnected from that material, so I needed to make a new video, essentially, about how I feel about print-on-demand services now, because I think every opinion of mine from that last video has changed. So like I said, almost 2 years ago, I made a video called Why I Stopped Selling on Society6. You can click the little pop-up wherever that shows up if you want to watch that first. I would also recommend it if you're watching this video and you're just hearing the words print on demand for the first time. But anyways, when I first made that video, and there's quite a bit of backstory that we don't need to get into, but the short version is that I wasn't quite a full-time artist at the time. I was trying a lot of different things to try to make money, so that review was coming from a very specific sort of direction. But now, I am a full-time artist. I have a business. I've come a long way since then, and so my opinions on Society6 and other similar services has changed as I've continued to grow. You know, a lot of my strategies and sort of methods have changed, but also I think most importantly, where I place value in the businesses that I choose to work with has changed as well. Society6 was my best option for a little bit, for what I wanted to do, you know, and then it sort of wasn't, and now it's definitely not. But that's not just a criticism on Society6, and I think you'll understand what I mean by that by the end of this video. But when it comes down to it, I guess, more than anything, I think what this video is really about is how my creative journey has evolved over time and what tools and resources that I think work best in parallel with that journey as time goes on. So this video isn't really meant to be like another review on another print-on-demand service. I mean, it kind of is, but this isn't meant to be like a series or anything. I mean, I don't think. But, you know, enough with all that. Let's just talk about what we're gonna talk about. And today we're gonna talk about Teemill. Full disclosure before we get into it, this is a sponsored video, but don't let that freak you out. Teemill saw my video on Society6, and they also happen to be working on a new affiliate program at the moment. So they asked me if I was interested in helping them test that out and to also see some of the other stuff that they've got going on, and I liked what I saw, so I said yes. They absolutely are not in control of this video or anything that I say in it, but there is a link in the description down below that you can use to check them out for yourself. It's free to sign up, but that is an affiliate link, so just keep that in mind. So I mentioned my business earlier. It's an indie film production company. It's brand new. I just went public with it like a few months ago, and it's been great. Attached to the studio is an online shop. And currently we're just selling like some limited edition prints and some digital goodies and things like that. What I would also like to do with the shop is to maybe start selling some studio merch and some branded tees, things like that. Enter Teemill. It was weirdly like great timing actually, like within the week of me being like, oh, I think we should start looking at some options to explore for this thing is when I got that first email from Teemill. So, you know, here we are. So I was able to upload some very early mock-up designs for the studio and ordered a small collection of items for me to test them out on. It should be noted at this point that this is literally like just a test. I haven't made any decisions or commitments or anything like that yet. Like I'm probably not even gonna use any of these designs. I am absolutely still exploring some options for how I want to go about doing this. You know, with my Society6 video, I talked quite a bit about like quality and how it's a little bit of an issue, at least for me, how you never really get to hold like the finished product in your hands. They're normally just purchased through the platform and shipped straight to the customers, and you kind of just have to like hope that it's good. With Teemill though, one of the things that sort of snagged my attention about it is that that doesn't have to be the case. Lots of other print-on-demand services don't do this, but Teemill allows you to order any number of any one of your designs on any of their items at printing cost. And if you're ordering in bulk, there's a discount that scales depending on how much you're ordering. So if you're already kind of thinking ahead with Teemill, you can upload a design. They've also got some ready to go ones that you can customize as well. You bulk order that design on say like a simple women's tee in a batch of different sizes. You receive the order and you can turn around and use those items as inventory selling them in your own store. And that's interesting. Definitely one of the things that snagged my attention. Personally, I'm not really all that interested in selling like the studio's merch through Teemill's like online platform. You can, and they certainly encourage you to do that. That's definitely gonna be the easiest option for most people. But they allow people to make that choice, and I like that a lot. There's layers in there too, like between those two sort of extreme points, I'll call them. There's choices to be made in there as well. Entry level is gonna be the hosted store on Teemill. It's pretty standard, but it's not. It's a custom domain, and it's kept separate from everyone else on the platform. One of my big criticisms with Society 6 is that everybody who's trying to sell, their art and their products, it's all just jammed into like one storefront, and that's a problem. With Teemill though, it's sort of like the print-on-demand version of Squarespace, except that base level is free. So many people use Squarespace to build their own websites, but those websites don't interact with one another. That would be mayhem. There's no crossover. And depending on what you're looking for, like with Squarespace, there's a certain paid tier where they can just yank out all the Squarespace like branding. It's the same thing with Teemill. It's definitely still hosted by the platform, but it's like your own. There's a certain level of control here that I really like. So if you're looking to craft like an entirely new brand from the ground up using nothing but like an Instagram account and a simple online store, you can do that with Teemill. Like the flexibility here is awesome. And like I said, it's a huge draw. Okay, sorry, I kind of just jumped right in there. Let's not get too far ahead. Let's talk about Teemill. What is this thing and how is it different? Teemill is a sustainable print-on-demand service. I'm not sure if I've even mentioned the sustainability thing yet. That's a crime. Teemill claims to have the first working circular economy for fashion. And what they mean by that is that it's a closed loop. They grow their own organic cotton to make their products. They manufacture, they print, they package, they process and recycle unwanted returns, and they weave that material back into the production process. So it's a closed loop, and there's a sustainability aspect, as far as I can tell, to every step of the process. Like this packaging, it's made from plants. Like, what? They're carbon neutral, and that includes the website hosting, by the way. Renewable energy powers every single one of their factories. There's zero waste, and they plant trees, among other things. Huge, huge drawing point number 2. Everything I just said. It should be number 1, but I jumped ahead earlier. Like truly, the sustainability aspect to their business is the reason why I didn't just delete that first email the second it hit my inbox. Any other print-on-demand service could have cold called me exactly the same way, and I would have just ignored them. Teemill has just been doing this differently from the ground up, and whether or not this ends up being the right fit for what you want to do, regardless, I think that's noteworthy. Okay, let's take a quick break and open this thing up and see what we've got going on in here. All of these wonderful, nice things I've been saying about Teemill so far could literally be for nothing if the majority of products in here aren't good. I'm posting the video regardless, so wish me luck. Ooh, it's a little hard to see in there, but there's like no wrapping or anything. All the items are just kind of tossed in here. Let's take a peek, huh? Honestly, it's been quite a bit since I placed the order, so I've forgotten what I've ordered. Okay, hey, number one, look at that. We got a nice tie-dye. I think this is a women's, it's a low cut. I forgot the name of what that is. And just some simple text here. YNDR, that's for the studio. Honestly, it looks pretty good. It's definitely like not going anywhere, Like it's not like some weird material that just rubs off. Like it's on there, It looks good. As far as the actual like material, it doesn't feel, it just feels pretty standard. It feels fine. Feels good. All right, that's the first one. Next. This is a men's crew neck sweater. So for this one, I did just some simple text, but I put behind all these different letters is a photograph on the design. This is a test to see how the letters looked and what the sweater material would be like, but also to see what the photograph would look like printed without me just printing a picture on the thing. So I'm testing a couple of different things with this one. It's got a little bit more of a texture to it, but it doesn't really feel like it's gonna rub off right away. The inside is soft. It's got a stretchy a stretchy waistband situation, like that around the bottom. And then there's the tag right there. Says Teemill 100% organic cotton. It's the typical tag, it's the brand, and all the washing instructions. And on the reverse side of that, so it's all one tag, on the reverse side of that is a scannable QR code, and on it it says send back to be remade and earn store credit. That's a level beyond what I thought it was gonna be. I thought you could return the thing and then it would just keep recycled, but you earn store credit? You earn store credit when you do that? That's nuts. Okay, cool. That's a plus. So I'll test out this QR code here in a little bit. I'm not sure if that's just the information on the recycling process, or maybe that like starts the return process. Okay, cool. This one was surprising. So actually, I think this is one I'm remembering. I did this weeks ago. So I said I put images behind the text. You can kind of see there's like a pattern here, and it's like a fern. I put a fern behind this one of my photographs. This isn't how it looked originally. Inside of their builder, they've got like a design studio, and you can like attach like filters and stuff. So this was one of the filters that I did. It kind of made the images look like cotton candy kind of. So maybe that's why I'm not seeing a lot of like the picture looking stuff here, because I've done some stuff to it. I have another piece with the same design without that filter. So we'll look at that one here in a second. Number 3, oh, I forgot I did this one. It's a tote. I hate the word tote, by the way. I hate it. The fabric is not what I was expecting. It's interesting. Yeah, you know, I'm starting to wonder. I'm not sure if I've ever held like a cotton tote before. Is there a tag in here? I want to know what this is made of. Yeah, 100% organic cotton. Okay, so the material caught me off guard at first. It does have like, it has like a stickiness to it. I'm not really sure what that's about. It feels like maybe they sprayed this with like an adhesive to give it some rigidity, you know? So it's not just like a floppy cotton thing. It feels like they've done something to the outside of this. It's those same blocky letters, and I have another one of my images printed behind these. It's a different one, and that one looks good actually. Looking at this, if I were to print a full-size picture on a shirt, I don't think I would have any reservations about the quality. Like the pixel density is all there. I said pixel density, it's a printed thing. It seems just a little smaller than what is like a standard tote, but you know, works just fine, I think. It looks good, yeah. Next up, I had almost forgotten I ordered this. So when I placed the order, there was an option to add in like a beanie. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the beanie, currently you can't do any like design work to the beanie. It's just like a standard gray beanie. But this is the first product that I've seen that it's 100% Remill cotton. So what that means is this is made out of materials that people have given back to Teemill to recycle. So this is part of that closed loop situation. That's cool. Okay, next up is, I believe this is just a standard tee. Oh gosh, these black items, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at my monitor too, sorry. This is those letters, but with the pictures behind them, so the standard ones. So this Y, there's like a wood pile behind it and some other stuff. Yeah, these look great. I think you could easily print a full-size picture if that's what you wanted to do, and it would look fine. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints about this. Yeah, just a standard tee, men's medium situation. It looks good. Please do not bend. I don't know what this is. Let's go on an adventure together. What is this? Oh shoot, I forgot I did that. I love that I'm doing this like 4 weeks after I placed the order. You can do stickers. It's a custom one that I did for the business. Yeah, so stickers, overall impressions is that it looks pretty good. Solid image. It's just the circle here, so they printed the square, but only the circle part here is the part that I ordered. I don't really have anything to compare it to at the moment, but I feel like most stickers that you put on like laptops and stuff like that, they sort of have like a sheen to them. And so this doesn't. It's definitely papery. All right, I got two things left. This is a men's long sleeve shirt. I just noticed on the tag, we're gonna zoom in on this because it's pretty great. If you can read that, it says picked by Catherine. That's really interesting. Yeah, that's a nice nod. I like that. Thank you, Catherine. And then the last item here, this is a men's large crew neck sweater. It's got this fern looking material and it's got those same YNDR letterings. I guess I was kind of expecting to have more things to point out about these. The sweaters are nice. I like the sweaters a lot. The inside, it's a little easier to see on the green. I was trying to do this with the black earlier, but it was so dark. The inside of the crew neck sweaters, the inside of them feels really nice. This is like the kind of sweater that you would wear too much. It's a little bit more stitched on the outside, and it's this nice soft cotton on the inside. The crew neck sweaters are surprising me the most out of everything. I like them a lot. Okay, so closing thoughts on sort of like the unboxing. I love the packaging. I love that it's made from recycled materials. I love that all of these items were just kind of thrown in the bag together. They were folded nicely and placed inside, but there's no plastic involved at all. And I really like that. Like every single item doesn't have to have a plastic, sheath around it or anything like that. In general, I'm very happy with the quality of the shirts. The shirts and the crew neck sweaters in particular are a standout. They're very, very nice. If you're just starting a brand and you're just looking to print on some of the basic stuff, like you would not be disappointed with any of these materials. And I really, really love that you can scan the QR code and just send it back and you get store credit. I think that's amazing. So that's all the stuff that I like. Really, I'm not finding a lot of stuff to complain about with the clothing. The crew neck sweaters are great, the print quality and all that stuff. Some of the areas that I'm a little bit weirded out by are everything that isn't the shirts. They're not bad, they just strike me as a little bit odd. The beanie, the texture, I don't know if it's because it's cotton, maybe that's a material I'm not used to, or if it's cotton that's been recycled, maybe that has a different texture to it too. I'm not sure if I would wear this beanie like full time. It's not a bad beanie. It's not a cheap material. It's not gonna like pull apart or anything like that. It's just, the inside is softer, but the outside, it's got a roughness to it that I'm not sure if I like right out of the box. It just feels like it needs to be broken in a little bit. So that's really my only criticism about that. The other thing is the sticker. Like as far as the stickiness of the sticker goes, it's fine. The only part that's different that might weird some people out is just the texture. And I think that's literally just because they're just using a different process to make these, It's definitely got a paper-like quality to it. I don't think that's a con, it is different. So just keep that in mind. Really the only thing out of everything that I ordered that I'm I'm unsure about is the tote. And that's kind of weird because I thought the tote would be a safe item. Yeah, I don't know. The tote is weird. The tote is weird. I don't know, Teemill, if you're spraying this with something to seal it or to give it more rigidity than it has, just by default, I would maybe stop doing that. I'm just by touching it, I want to wash my hands afterwards. I don't know, there's something weird about it. There's something weird. Everything else I really like all the other criticisms that I have are just pointing out stuff because they're different. This is different in a weird way. Like the fabric is it's really hard to see because it's black, but it's picking up all of these microfibers that are all over me, but none of the other clothing is doing that. There is something about it that is sticky. I would be interested to learn more about how and why this is different compared to every other product that they have. Like I was expecting when I ordered a 100%, cotton recyclable whatever tote from Teemill, I was expecting it to be the same material as one of these shirts, just with handles on it. I don't need a tote that's got crazy rigidity. If I really wanted that, I would just kind of go out and buy one that is more of that canvas material. I don't think you should be trying to do both at once. I think you should stick with this material. Don't make it sticky. Okay, I'm back. I had to actually go and wash my hands. It was giving me like anxiety. Okay, so those are all my opinions, and that's all the talking I'm gonna do about the unboxing experience. I'm really trying not to make this like a long drawn out video, so I'll just say in short that there's a lot about Teemill that I do like even outside of all of the amazing like sustainability stuff. Their uploader and designer, in my experience at least, there's just like no hassle, and I really appreciate that. There's also tons of friendly visual tutorials, and their customer service seems super approachable. I've also been seeing like a lot of social media marketing, coaching, and blog posts and other weirdly good extras as well. I do believe that I'm mostly seeing all of that stuff because I'm on an upgraded pro account that Teemill was kind enough to give me access to, but if you're looking for that kind of stuff, it's there. So I guess in general, with Teemill, it just sort of feels like there's people, like actual people on the other end of the experience, and no other print-on-demand service that I've had experience with has been like that, ever. And yeah, I guess I just consider that to be a huge plus, so. But, you know, in order to truly know if this is gonna be the right fit for you, if this is gonna work for you, I would encourage you to click the link in the description down below and to really test this out for yourself. There's really like so much great stuff there, but not enough time to talk about all of that in this video because I do need to make sure that there's room in this video for some cons. And it's weird, like I'm nervous now. With the Society 6 video, I ripped them pretty hard and I was just kind of like, take it or leave it, Society 6, but you know, Teemill will watch this video, so it's slightly more stressful to call them out on some stuff, but this is like the place for feedback, right? Hopefully, you know, that affiliate link works a little bit longer than just a few days. Thank you, Teemill, for this opportunity. But, you know, it wouldn't be fair otherwise, so let's talk about some things that I don't like about Teemill. Let's start small with the first one. I mentioned how there's like layers of flexibility to how they let you sell their products, and there are, but one area that isn't super flexible, but they sort of lead you to believe that it is cross-website product integration. Like if you want to integrate your shop into Instagram's platform, for example, and sell Teemill products and market your brand through Instagram and have complete control over all of that stuff, you can, but it's not true product integration. As far as I can tell, if you're using Teemill to host your online shop, there's no way for your customers to be able to like check out on Instagram. That's sort of the feature that I'm talking about. The only way that you're really gonna get that is if you're ordering in bulk, building an inventory on your own separate, personally owned website like I'm planning on doing, and connecting that to your social media. If you understand a little bit about how most of these social media sites will go about like authenticating and adding like legit stores to their platform, it does make sense that Teemill isn't able to do this. It's definitely more of like a technical limitation. But having how-tos in their blog like set up your brand for shopping on social media, and there's even a video called how to link your existing website with your t-shirt store, they sort of like lead you to believe that there's a more flexible option in there. But all said and done, all it really ever is a hard link that rips you out of whatever platform you're in, and they make you go through the checkout process through Teemill's platform. So let's say you have a dedicated website for your brand and you're selling your products through Teemill like they recommend, and you also want to advertise and sell your products through a platform like Instagram. There sort of ends up being like this weird scenario where customers just kind of bypass your actual brand website altogether. And Teemill kind of goes out of their way to be like, your brand's identity and website design is such an important aspect of marketing, but they sort of end up being the wall that you have to jump over to be able to market your brand effectively. It's odd. And like I said, they don't claim to have like product integration like that, but it is suggested in kind of a clickbaity kind of way. Like, I saw those headlines when I was doing research for this video and learning more about Teemill, and I got excited because I thought it was like a feature. And, you know, maybe that's my fault for misunderstanding or misinterpreting that, but I did misunderstand and misinterpret that. So at the very least, I feel like it's worth bringing up. I believe that they could maybe be just a little bit more clear with that like through line message. Like, I don't think it would be a total disaster for them to just say, if you want to do it this way, it's gonna be a link, you know? Yeah, like I said, that one's a pretty minor one. But let's talk about con number 2, which is shipment tracking. And this one's weird because I'm really not sure if this is a con yet. I haven't like truly tested the ordering process like from a customer's perspective. I've only ever done like through the affiliate or the back end of Teemill and doing the bulk orders that way. That's the only experience I've ever had. So I do kind of hope that I'm being a little bit inaccurate here. So I ordered this package of products through, like I said, the back end of my Teemill account, like anybody would if they were bulk ordering a product for their business. There were no emails, no shipping notifications, no estimated delivery date as far as I could tell. There was a page at the end of the checkout process that said order confirmed with a nice, green check mark or whatever, but otherwise it was just radio silence. I actually ended up having to reach out to my contact at Teemill after about 2 weeks lengths to sort of ask like what's going on here. And they were lovely, like that's no criticisms there, but they did tell me that they don't provide tracking information for US-based orders. And yeah, what? And here's chiefly where I'm confused about that. Is that just like the bulk ordering situation, or does that also include like from the customer's perspective? Because either way, that's a con. They are a company that's based out of the United Kingdom, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I agreed to do this video, I did ask and was assured by Teemill that the UK to US situation would not be a problem at all because they have a facility in the United States. I would even go as far as to say that they're trying to further their footprint in the United States, hence my involvement. But get tracking, please, for US-based orders. In this, lovely digital age that we're in, and I'm sorry, but it is kind of archaic to not have tracking on shipments, especially with how I and others, I would assume, are interested in using your service. Like using Teemill to manage my inventory. Like as a seller, I need to know when that inventory is arriving. Like that, it just seems kind of crazy to me that that's not figured out yet. Businesses and brands that are hoping and looking to take advantage of all of this wonderful stuff that you've got going on Teemill, they will need this tracking situation figured out. So please iron this one out. And with that, we're moving on to con number 3. This is a pretty quick one because it's not that much of a con, it's more of a bummer for me personally. It's definitely more of a criticism on men's fashion than it is about anything that Teemill's doing wrong necessarily. Really, what I'm looking for is just more options than the traditional menswear stuff. And I know that it's mostly like the quick branded tees and sweatshirts and that kind of thing, but like at least give me a V-neck option, please. The women's clothing on Teemill gets that much and much more. Men's, there's just like a lot less love there, and I would like to see that be different. And the last one here, we're on con number 4. We're talking about clothing again, and unfortunately this one's a bit of a biggie. Teemill's sizing is almost embarrassingly size exclusive. They only go up to a size 2XL for men's, and I believe a size 16 for women's. So there are no plus size options, and that's just not good enough. It's 2022, like gone are the days of non-inclusive sizing, just gone. And I really don't care if it's complicated either. This is a mild deal breaker for me, if I'm being honest. As a business owner, looking and wanting to add like clothing products to my shop for people, my customers to enjoy, this sucks. You're slicing out a percentage of people by not offering an expanded range of sizing. That should never have been a percentage in the first place. Out of all of the other cons that I've talked about, those other things would be nice to see changed. This needs to change. And I'm sorry if that's harsh, but Teemill, this has to be different. And if that means that I'm paying slightly more across the board for every product in order to make those sizing options available, like to me, that's worth it. I would even pay the isolated costs for the extra materials, for the extra sizing, just to have the option to order those expanded sizes and have them in stock, like in my store. I'll do that too. You've got this whole like crazy sustainable thing like figured out. That's huge. Inclusive sizing should be the very next immediate thing that you're focusing on. Okay, that's it. I feel like I brought the mood down a little bit there towards the end, but thank you, Teemill, for sponsoring this video. You are doing a lot of really great stuff here, and your products, your materials, your print quality, it's good. It is like so nice to hold something right here physically in front of me. Like it's really, really nice. I have some opinions about your tote, but besides that. But like I said, everything that I ordered here, it's just a test. Like if I don't want to do anything with these, I'll probably keep both of these crew neck sweaters because they're amazing. But anything here that I would normally just be throwing away, I will absolutely be scanning that QR code and figuring out how to send the things that I don't want back and know that they will be 100% recycled, like zero waste. That's incredible. And if that's something that sounds appealing to you as well, I would encourage you to check Teemill out for yourself. Even with, some of those cons that I had mentioned, it's honestly like absolutely awesome to have those cons to point out. All of the other print-on-demand services out there, at least the ones that I've had experiences with, they are just not up to par on what Teemill has got going on. So it's cool that I can complain about those things and not like every other problem that all the other print-on-demand services are having. Like, take a look back at my Society 6 video. I think every single point that I talked about in that video, all of those cons, I believe Teemill is in some way addressing. There is some work to be done for sure, but on some level, Teemill is sort of redefining what good print-on-demand looks like. And I think that's significant. With everything that I've talked about, pros and cons all considered, and even where I'm at with my creative journey and, all of those things, Teemill, to me, I do believe is currently print-on-demand at its best. So don't forget, there is a link in the description down below if you want to check out Teemill for yourself. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.